In the age of myth, long before humanity, the cosmos was ruled by the Titans. Their king, Cronus, had seized power by overthrowing his own father, the sky god Uranus. But with his final breath, Uranus cursed his son with a chilling prophecy, that Cronus too would be undone by his own child. This prophecy became a poison, twisting Cronus from a powerful king into a paranoid tyrant. He knew that to secure his throne he had to defy fate itself. And so, as his wife, the goddess Rhea, gave birth to their divine children, he committed an unspeakable act. One by one he stole them from her arms. Hestia, goddess of the hearth. Demeter, who would command the harvest. Hera, destined to be a queen. Hades, the future lord of the unseen. And Poseidon, who would master the seas. The moment they drew their first breath, Cronus swallowed them whole, imprisoning them in the darkness of his own being. Rhea's heart broke with each child she lost. Her pleas were ignored, her tears fell on barren stone. She could not bear to lose another. With her 6th pregnancy, Rhea knew she had to act. She journeyed to the heart of creation and pleaded with her own mother, Gaia, the earth. Together they devised a plan of deception. After giving birth to her son Zeus in a hidden cave on the island of Crete, Rhea returned to Cronus. But instead of her child, she presented the king with a large stone wrapped tightly in swaddling clothes. Blinded by paranoia and pride, Cronus did not even look. He snatched the bundle and swallowed it just as he had the others, believing he had once again conquered fate. But fate was not so easily cheated. Miles away, hidden from his father's reign of terror, the infant Zeus was alive. He was raised by nymphs, nursed by the sacred goat Amalthea, and guarded by warriors who clashed their spears to drown out his infant cries. He grew in secret, his strength fed by the earth, his mind sharpened by the injustice done to his family. The boy became a man, and the man became a god, his veins flowing with power and a singular burning purpose: to return to the heart of the Titan kingdom, free his captive siblings, and unleash a war that would tear the old world down to make way for the new. The storm was coming, and its name was Zeus. Having come of age, Zeus was ready to claim his birthright. But he could not challenge the Titan king alone. He sought the counsel of Metis, the goddess of wisdom, who crafted a potent elixir. Disguised as a royal cupbearer, Zeus served the potion to his unsuspecting father. The effect was immediate and violent. Cronus, writhing in agony, was forced to disgorge the children he had swallowed. First Poseidon, then Hades, then Hera, Demeter, and Hestia. They emerged not as infants but as powerful, fully grown gods, burning with a righteous fury for their stolen lives. The line was drawn. Zeus and his freed siblings established their fortress on Mount Olympus, while Cronus and the Titans gathered on the opposing peak, Mount Olympus. And so began the Titanomachy, the Great War, a conflict that would rage for 10 grueling years. The war was a brutal stalemate. Titan might was matched by the fiery resolve of the new gods. Power crashed against power, and the cosmos itself trembled with their fury, but the scales remained balanced. Realizing they needed a greater advantage, Zeus remembered the forgotten children of Uranus, who had also been imprisoned by Cronus, the Cyclopes, masters of the forge, and the Hecatonchires, the 100-handers. Zeus descended into the shadowy abyss of Tartarus and broke their chains. In gratitude, the Cyclopes gifted the 3 brothers with unimaginable power. For Zeus, they forged the thunderbolt, a weapon that commanded the fury of the sky. For Poseidon, the trident, giving him mastery over the earth and seas. And for Hades, the helm of darkness, allowing him to move unseen through the shadows. The tide of the war turned. Zeus, now armed with lightning, ascended to the heavens and unleashed a barrage of celestial fire upon the Titans. Poseidon struck the earth, causing mountains to shatter and the seas to boil. Hades, cloaked in invisibility, moved behind enemy lines, sowing chaos and confusion. And the 100-handers, with their terrifying strength, hurled hundreds of boulders at once, burying the Titan armies under an avalanche of stone. The assault was relentless. The power of the Titans finally broke. Defeated, Cronus and his followers were bound and cast down into the eternal darkness of Tartarus, their prison secured by the very 100-handers they had once feared. The war was over. The reign of the Titans had ended. A new dawn broke over Mount Olympus, and at its peak stood Zeus, the undisputed king of the gods. With the Titans defeated and imprisoned in Tartarus, the Great War was finally over. A new era of peace had dawned, but with it came a monumental question: who would rule the vast empty cosmos? The 3 victorious brothers, Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades, were the most powerful beings in existence. but a dispute over rulership could lead to another devastating war. They had fought together to bring order to the universe, and they agreed that order, not conflict, must be the foundation of their new reign. So they decided to leave the division of the world to a power older than the gods themselves, fate. They gathered in the grand hall of Olympus and called upon the Moirae, the fates, to preside over their momentous decision. 3 lots were created, each representing one of the great domains of the universe. They were placed within a golden urn, their contents hidden from all. No one brother would choose his kingdom. Destiny would choose for them. This act of humility ensured that their new world would be built on fairness and balance, rather than ambition. Hades, the eldest brother, was the first to draw. His hand closed around a dark obsidian lot. He had received the underworld, the vast unseen realm beneath the earth, the final destination for the souls of the dead. It was to be a kingdom of shadow and silence, of immense wealth in the form of precious metals and gems, but a place devoid of the sun's light. Hades accepted his grim domain with a solemn nod. Poseidon, lord of the earth-shaking tread, drew second. His lot was a deep sea-blue stone, and with it he was granted dominion over all the waters of the world. The restless oceans, the deep seas, and all the creatures within them became his kingdom. He would command the waves, stir the storms, and his trident would become a symbol of both the sea's bounty and its destructive fury. Finally, it was Zeus's turn. As the youngest, he drew the last remaining lot. It was a stone of pure, clear crystal that seemed to hold the light of the stars. He had won the grandest prize of all, the sky. He was now the ruler of the heavens, the master of clouds, wind, and rain. He commanded the thunder and the lightning, and from his seat of power high on Mount Olympus he would preside over all, becoming the king of gods and men, the arbiter of justice, and the keeper of law and order for the entire cosmos. The earth itself remained common ground, a place for all divinities to walk, but the universe was now divided. The new order was set. Each king had his realm, and the reign of the Olympians had truly begun. Zeus sat upon his throne, the ruler of a cosmos at peace. But this peace was not to last. Deep within the earth, Gaia, the primal mother of all, seethed with anger. Her children, the Titans, were imprisoned in Tartarus, and she held Zeus responsible. Her rage festered, and from this ancient fury she birthed one final child, a monster more terrifying than any that had come before. Its name was Typhon. He was a creature of nightmare made real, so immense that his head brushed against the stars with arms that ended in 100 writhing dragon heads. His lower body was a mass of giant coiling vipers. Fire blazed from his eyes, and from his many mouths came the roars of lions, the hissing of serpents, and the bellows of bulls. When the gods of Olympus saw this abomination storming their gates, even they were consumed by fear. One by one they fled, disguising themselves as animals and scattering across the lands of Egypt. All fled except for one. Zeus would not abandon his throne. The battle that followed was a cataclysm that shook the foundations of the world. Zeus hurled his mighty thunderbolts, and the sky itself caught fire. But Typhon was a force of nature. He met the storm with a hurricane of his own, spewing lava and fire, tearing up entire mountains and hurling them at the king of the gods. In the brutal close-quarters combat, the monster gained a horrifying advantage. Typhon ensnared Zeus in his viperous coils, tore the very sinews from his limbs, and left the god of thunder powerless and imprisoned in a dark cave. For a moment the cosmos teetered on the brink. The monster Typhon had defeated its king. But Zeus was not without allies. The swift messenger god Hermes located the hidden sinews. With unmatched stealth, he crept past the slumbering monster, retrieved them, and restored Zeus to his full strength. Reborn with a furious resolve, Zeus returned to the fight, his power magnified by his rage. He relentlessly assaulted Typhon with a non-stop barrage of thunderbolts, burning away his 100 heads and charring his massive form. The monster that had terrified the gods finally broke. Wounded and defeated, Typhon fled, but Zeus pursued him, and for his final act he lifted up the entire island of Sicily and dropped it on the monster, trapping him forever beneath Mount Etna. The tremors and eruptions of the great volcano are said to be the last dying rage of the great beast. Zeus had faced down primordial chaos and won. With the defeat of Typhon, all challenges to Zeus's power were extinguished. The age of brutal chaotic wars was over. The cosmos, once a battlefield for titans and monsters, was finally at peace under a single undisputed ruler. But Zeus knew that true order was not maintained by strength alone. It required structure, family, and justice. His first act as the unchallenged king was to establish a divine court. He took his sister Hera as his wife, and their sacred marriage established the royal family of Olympus. She became the queen of the heavens, and together, they presided over the new pantheon. Zeus, however, never forgot the prophecy that a son might one day overthrow him, just as he had overthrown Cronus. When he learned his first consort, Metis, the goddess of wisdom, was pregnant, he swallowed her to avert this fate. But destiny cannot be consumed. The wisdom of Metis was absorbed into Zeus himself, and from this a miracle occurred. One day, afflicted by a mighty headache, Zeus called upon the smith god Hephaestus, who struck his head with a hammer. From the wound sprang Athena, not as an infant, but as a fully grown warrior goddess clad in armor, her battle cry echoing through the heavens. She was wisdom born from power, and she became Zeus's most loyal and trusted child. The halls of Olympus soon filled with a new generation. The radiant Apollo, god of music and prophecy, his twin sister Artemis, mistress of the hunt, the swift-footed Hermes, the messenger, and many others took their place in the divine council. Zeus was not merely their king, he was their father. He assigned each their duties, listened to their counsel, and governed a family as much as a kingdom. From his golden throne, Zeus became the ultimate arbiter of justice for gods and mortals alike. He held the golden scales, weighing the deeds of men and dispensing rewards and punishments. He was the guardian of oaths, the protector of guests, and the source of all earthly kingship. While his own passions often led him into tempestuous affairs, his commitment to cosmic balance was absolute. The reign of Zeus was not one of fear like his father's, but one of order. He was the god of the sky, but more than that, he was the foundation upon which the entire age of myth was built. The child who was saved by a stone had become the cornerstone of the world.